Hi, my name is Andrew Cameron, and this is Andrew Cameron Sports. Today, I will be talking about bowling. Back in the 1930s, a British anthropologist named Sir Flinders Petrie discovered a primitive bowling set in the grave of a child. So what's interesting about that? The grave dated back nearly 5,000 years to the height of the ancient Egyptian Empire. Since then, other anthropologists have discovered hieroglyphs and artwork depicting a sport remarkably similar to modern-day bowling. German historian William Paley asserts that modern-day bowling appears to have its roots in Germany, dating back to 300 CE. At that time, most Germans carried kegels, a wooden pin-shaped rod for sport and protection, and it was believed that knocking down these kegels or pins with a rock would pardon their sins. Historians debate when bowling was introduced to England. The earliest known evidence of the sport is an antique bowling green in Southampton that dates back to 1299. In 1366, King Henry III banned bowling from the country as it was a distraction from archery practice for soldiers, and this marks the first official mention of bowling in historical records. By the 1400s, bowling was allowed in the country again, and non-bowling lanes were roofed over, turning bowling into a sport that could be played during inclement weather. But by 1511, King Henry VI banned it from the lower classes in an attempt to turn bowling into the sport only for the wealthy. At this time, many variations of the sport were cropping up all over Europe, including Austria, Switzerland, and the Low Countries. The number of pins varied from 3 to 17, as did the size of the ball and number of players. However, the goal was always the same: knock down as many pins as you can. Bowling was brought to America by British, German, and Dutch settlers. Depictions of Dutchmen playing a version of the game in New York from 1670 is the earliest known evidence of bowling in North America. In American literature, the first mention of bowling was penned by Washington Irving in his classic 1819 novel, Rip Van Winkle. In the book, Rip describes the sound of crashing nine pins as he watches the ghostly figures of old Dutchmen playing the game. In the 1820s, gambling became a common vice and stress reliever for many workers at the time. Bowling halls became center stage for this sometimes fun, sometimes seedy practice, leading to the game being temporarily banned or outlawed in some states. By the late 19th century, due to various influences and cultures in the United States, there were endless variations of the game. It became clear that a universal set of rules needed to be imposed in order to form leagues. Proprietor Joe Thum developed the unified standards with the United Bowling Clubs in New York, and in 1895, the American Bowling Congress was formed. Around this time, women began to become more involved with the sport of bowling. Outdoor alleys moved indoors, bowling became less of a gambler sport and more socially acceptable. However, women were not permitted in the American Bowling Congress League. In 1907, the first women's informal national women's tournament was held, and by 1917, the Women's International Bowling Congress was formed. This league eventually became the world's largest women's sports league. The first televised bowling game was the Championship Bowling on NBC in the 1950s. The sport's popularity grew drastically following the broadcast. In 1958, the PBA was founded, and it had 4,300 members in 14 countries worldwide. Bowling is a rather simple sport in terms of rules. And there are 10. The first one is you have to release the ball from behind the foul line. Number 2 is you cannot cross the foul line. 3, the ball cannot come out of the gutter. 4, the ball cannot be altered during the game. 5, the maximum score is 300. 6, there are 2 balls per frame, with the exception of the 10th frame. 7, proper tire is required. 8, you should wait for the bowler on your right to finish bowling before you bowl. Number 9, limit your swearing. And 10, be ready. Thank you for watching. This is Cameron Sports. I'll see you next time.